Has the stream started?
It is. Yes. Welcome to NGS Season 9. We do have Washed Up versus Archon here in the Heroic Division. Super excited. With me tonight, I do have Zammy. He's
Hello.
representing A Division, right?
Yes.
Yes. Um,
Very top.
the first game tonight is on Dragonshire. We have the map is picked by Washed Up. We have Archon with the first pick. Definitely looking to see some good play coming out of our heroic division teams, especially with the patch notes that just hit today. Zamie and I have been talking about it while we were waiting for this to start. We do see Joanna and Deathwing as the first two bans. Joanna, a really solid ban lately, just because she's an all-around wall. She's a huge tank, really hard to kill, lots of CC. Deathwing, who did just get nerfed, still being banned. He poses a large map presence threat, as does Abathur with the push on a 3-lane map.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Trying to get caught up. Looking for that next ban coming out of Washed Up. Sylvanas, another just solid ban all around. She's really strong with the way the traits are coming out.
And
And
Zool gets through.
Zool does get through. The nurse today looked like they were pretty strong. There's a dab for
Finally.
Sheej01. Thanks for making me do that in the Twitch chat. When I sneeze, I dab too. So, um,
First pick Garrosh. That is.
yeah. What do you think about that?
I mean, Joe. Yeah, they follow up with the ETC
ETC
and
and
Junkrat.
Junkrat. So
So ETC's W, that is like just a hard counter and like the best part about him. That's like why he's so good, especially into Garrosh. Garrosh has to unstoppable and walk towards ETC in order to get through the W.
We see the large minion coming out for Archon. Jimmy Rayner being picked up as the ADC and Stukov as the healer.
Nice.
So we do see the main core of Archon in Garrosh, Rayner, and Stukov going into the next wave of bans. So I've seen a lot of ETC this match, and almost every single one has been Mosh Pit. I think you even played Mosh Pit
I
ETC
did.
for
I
me.
used it once badly.
You used it once bad. It was a 3-man mosh. It looked good. It worked out worse, but
Right.
So, and we see the Tastar being banned by Washed Up, denying Archon the Archon. Do you think we'll see a stage dive on this map?
Maybe it depends on the solo laner. Like ganking the solo laner could be huge.
I did see an offlane ETC a few days ago as well.
They
Who
already
did
have 3
that was the
counters
stage
though.
dive.
Yeah. Offlane ETC is also super dope, and yeah, I've seen some higher level Div A and heroic teams go with that. They start off with the ETC, and then they transition into another tank. Doesn't look like they're gonna do that with the Malfurion and Jaina pick.
No, they do still definitely need another frontliner, some sort of bruiser, maybe a Malthael into
Artanis! Oh my
the
gosh.
Artanis pickup. Why is that so exciting at this point? It seems kind of standard for the
You
top
know,
lane.
Artanis has been a meme for so long, and now I thought he was still going to be a meme, but it looks like Archon's taking
Well,
this
you know what they
very
say?
seriously.
Don't let your memes be dreams. They do pick up Artanis and Genji to round out their team. Artanis Garrosh going to be a
And
good front line.
Genji,
Rayner for
oh
the
my
steady
gosh.
damage. Genji for the executes. And Stukov hopefully going to try to disrupt Malfurion. But Malfurion's healing is very drawn out, which kind of counters things like the Ana and the Stukov. I mean, Ana was banned, but those are the type of healers you see as counterplay
Uh-huh.
instead of defensive play, I guess, or that constant steady play. Um, so having his heals drawn out, really long healing, kind of defeats the silence from Sukov a little bit. He won't be able to get off the burst. And we have Euro coming out for that point control in the top lane against Artanis. Looking at these two
Yep,
team
yep.
comps, who do you think has the better draft?
I think Washed Up does. They just have better wave clear. They have a really nice displace. Um, Slows for the Garrosh. Garrosh going into Jaina ETC is rough, especially Junkrat and Malfurion. That's like 4 characters with knockback or something to hinder the engage. But Archon also has like they have a high execution comp, so they could pull it off with some insane play.
I
Um,
definitely envision an Artanis swap into the Garish throw getting locked, and that being the lockdown for the engage. Otherwise, I feel like Archon needs to just disengage off
right.
of washed up and then get a catch out. So as a reminder for the folks at home, on Washed Up, we have Chaotic on Euro, Keep 6 on Junkrat, Fade on ETC, Saber on Jaina, Ember on Malfurion, going up against Archon, Zami. Who we got over there on Archon?
On Archon, we're gonna have Genji, played by JTR, Stukov, played by Little Bex, Raynor with Midnight Haze, Artanis, played by Fatal Rampage, and Garrosh, played by Virtuoso.
Now, something I am noticing right off the bat is we are getting a 5v5 mid lane as opposed to off laners going up to soak, which is something that surprises me at this level of play.
It's just the thing to do, you know. You want to kind of like
Looking for a swap on
throw the
Artanis,
stuff
he
at the
decides
wall.
not to. It's just what you do. Now, we see a quest on Garrosh, so he'd want to.
Slide back on
Euros
NPC.
jumping in.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!
What a pick
This
off
is-
the Garrosh.
yeah.
First blood, definitely unexpected. A big slide by Fade, catching the Garrosh out of position. Garrosh having nowhere to go except straight back to the Hall of Storms.
And that's the issue. You just saw those 4 characters on the side of Washed Up. They just used all of their displace in CC and really hindered that Garrosh. Like, Garrosh has to play so well in order to get a pick here.
Yeah, and Garrosh has the only stacking quest, kind of going back to that first question. The other ones, Artanis can worry about his quest up in the top lane. But the rest are globe
Artanis
quests.
is winning the lane, actually.
He is. He's pushing Euro out. But Euro's just really more defensive, isn't she? She's not really going to get too aggressive until the lane is cleared up. Or until
True.
she's trying to bully him on the point. Artanis with the shield and Euro with the heal, they are going to have roughly similar sustain, although
Oh, they're going on Genji on mid. Oh, Genji gets
Artanis'
out.
sustain isn't based off of, or isn't mana gated. We do see a skirmish down bot over the bottom shrine, but Archon going to take the advantage, start pushing out Washed Up. But then here comes the rest of Washed Up. They're coming back, trying to
really
clear out
even
that
on
siege camp
XP.
before they can really push forward. Otherwise, they run a risk of losing towers. That's the other thing I've noticed, even in your game. You get a tower early, and that just kind of sets the tone. Not even a fort, a tower just kind of sets the pace for the rest of the match. Even
It's
with
just
all the
that more
changes.
safe.
Yeah. Even with all the changes that they made to structures where it's a lot easier to defend at this high level play, you just can't play off the back foot.
Yep, yep.
We get a
Well,
lot of pressure from Raynor onto the Junkrat. They do have the Dragon ready for the capture. Genji trying to get up here. Jaina going to do what she can to keep him off. But I think Genji wins a straight up trade, so he's just going to have to... Yep, she does stall long enough for Washed Up to take back the bottom shrine. Get no Dragon for Genji. What were you going to say?
Something about top. Euro engaged, but pretty neutral now. Euro's trying to take back top right now. But bot, they get a root on Raynor.
A big explosion from Junkrat separating out Washed Up from him and the rest of his team. Washed Up
They
now
switch
trying to
control.
catch the dragon. They do have control of both shrines. Jaina trying to push off the Genji, but it looks like Archon going to take the bottom shrine back with plenty of time to spare. I don't really anticipate a dragon being capped before 5 minutes anyway, otherwise it's effectively wasted until the next rotation. But other than as a denial mechanic, right?
Mm-hmm. Usually it takes a while, and also both teams are really doing well, like soaking mid, defending the dragon. Although it looks
Jaina
like
good
Jaina
into
can get
cap.
this here.
Genji sliding in. Gonna poke off the
Oh.
Jaina. Jaina still gonna cap. Genji's getting chased out, but no,
dang.
Raynor and Junkrat, that's a Stukov, not a Junkrat, able to capture the bottom shrine. Yeah, like you said, it's a lot of back and forth.
Oh, the slide. The root.
Big stun off of ETC. The huge root from Malfurion catching the Raynor out. Raynor's gonna fall to the Junkrat.
And that was crazy. Keep 6 just made the optimal crazy Junkrat play, knocking someone from the mine into the trap. That was incredible.
That takes
That's exactly what you want.
That's really hard to do, though, isn't it? Or while they're
Yeah.
airborne, will they go over the trap, or will the trap still get them?
The trap will get them while they're going airborne.
Kind of like Mirrodin's jump still doesn't avoid things.
Yeah, it was almost perfect, but the level 7 talent where they oh no, the level 4 talent where Junkrat mines or the traps chase them
Yeah.
secured the root.
Oh,
It looks like
nice.
Archon's gonna take back bot.
Yeah, we do see a bruiser camp coming out of Washed Up. It's their own bruiser camp. Not looking for a steal yet. It's a little risky. 3-man in the bottom lane for Archon. They do get control of the dragon again. Genji trying to cap, but Fade on the ETC just beating him up with that guitar. He's ready to rock, and Genji's not having it. Backing off. He's going to wait.
Genji's having a rough time, man. He's
He
having to do
is.
the most.
He is keeping a lot of pressure up, which is good, so that when Washed Up has control like they do right now, they're not able to cap, but correct me now.
Yep. Garrosh backed. Nothing to do.
Yeah, just after 5 minutes, Jaina able to cap the first dragon. I'd expect her to go bot with it, as that does have 3 minion camps that march down the bot lane. Generally the power lane on this map. She's going to kick Genji away and stay in the mid lane, however. Try to get some tower damage out, but not a whole lot. Just taking a few extra tower shots before starting to go down with the rest of her team. I imagine waiting for the minion wave to show up going into these towers. We got a
4v3 bot. Genji's coming down now, but this looks like it could be a fort, honestly.
It could be a fort. If it's not a fort, at least a health fountain. But so far, I think for as early as this dragon is, it's already been successful taking out that entire wall and towers. And they do get the health fountain, so they will definitely have the advantage in the next objective, skirmishing over this bottom shrine. And that's going to be big for them, especially if they can get that bruiser camp in the bot lane as well, leading into the next set of shrine captures. Then they'll have a lot of pressure pushing out and can kind of do what they want to Archon.
And we do see Mosh getting picked.
Mosh does get picked up for ETC again. Insane, because as much as ETC loves to Mosh, there's a lot of interrupt on the side of Archon. ETC getting thrown by the garage, getting rooted down in the silence.
Mosh goes down, but Fade gets out.
I heard the Mosh, but I didn't see it. But they do still get Garage and Raynor, the water elemental, chasing. And we have Jaina completing her Region Globe quest. ETC still has 3 to go. Warbreaker on Garage, only about halfway done. He's not hitting the Qs like he'd like to. Kind of like what we talked about. They are getting the bruiser camp right now. And Protector of Ayur.
Look at Genji. They get the slide. They get the root. He's going to get out, though.
That's a shove on Fade into the hedge right there. Those are some really thick hedges. Can't shove them through. Again, the top lane just kind of trading back and forth, but Euro's making decent progress. She's almost got that tower all the way down. She already has the gate down. And so Artan is clearly having a rough time up there.
Oh, we got a 4v5 on bot.
A big taunt coming out from Garage, taking out the Malfurion. That's a big pick, forcing Washed Up to back out. The water elemental comes out kind of as a saving grace. And Dragon Strike able to catch up to the Jaina and then finish off the ETC. That's a big double kill for Genji. That's up 3-0 on the fight. Euro coming in to disrupt, slamming everybody back into her siege camp. A huge catch for Archon as they go 4-0 on Washed Up. As the Shrine's about to activate, that's going to be big going in. Do the death timers are coming down. Is Washed Up going to be able to contest this dragon?
I think they will, especially with Yrel mid on Genji. Genji's alone too, but Yrel doesn't know that. But yeah, that was really big for Archon. They saw Yrel was still top and went for the 5v4 engage with Artanis mid. Oh, Malfurion gets thrown, walking into a bush.
He gets caught again by the Garage, and he's going to go down. The healer dying twice in a row. That's really unfortunate. Let's see if Yrel can hold off this can hold off this dragon.
And that's really tough when you have momentum and you lose it suddenly 2 times. That is huge for morale. So hope Washed Up can come back from this. But Archon's done a great job of finally finding out how to execute their comp.
Yeah, again, like we talked about, Garrosh has to get those picks, probably Artanis swaps to help out, and then they can kind of run away with it. But unless they get the pick, they got to get someone out of position. Washed Up has the overall team fight, I think.
And Artanis has got his stacks up to 159 on Protector of Ayur. That is nuts.
Now, he just has to get, it's just basic attacks against heroes, I thought there was more to
Yes.
it, kind of like season marksman work. No, he's just hit Uriel that many times. Someone call the
Oh,
cops.
dang. And they get a pick on. Oh, they trade tank spot.
They do trade tank spot. We were looking at Artanis.
Genji's got it back. This is probably a cap unless Artanis can get top.
Washed up, coming back out of that really disappointing exchange before the shrines.
Yeah,
With
that's huge.
really well. A big capture for Washed Up. Jaina on the dragon again. Let's see if she goes down to finish that fort and maybe push up to the keep at that point, or does she then go back up for the mid fort, you think?
I would say mid fort, just because as we've seen, Mouth is really susceptible. That's how Archon has really gotten into this game, is taking advantage of Mouth.
Yeah, I would expect Malfurion, words are hard sometimes, to really
Sorry,
be
I'll say
farther
the full
back.
name. Yeah,
You what?
yeah.
No, it's all right.
I'll
Mouth
say
is
the full
fine.
name.
Well, just a couple times in case people don't know who characters are. But yeah, so Mouth getting picked off a lot. You would expect Malfurion to be in the back of his team, and he's just getting caught.
Right.
They are going to push down this fort. It looks like the dragon already at a third health. The fort is going to go down. A big pop from Junkrat on Artanis. Artanis getting rooted. And then the Riptire, Artanis, really bulky though. He's going to get out just fine.
Still survives. That's a lot of survivability. I thought that was a Junkrat ult. That was a full Jaina combo.
The Junkrat, or rather the Dragon Knight going down. And Archon going to get their Bruiser Camp as Washed Up goes to get the bottom Bruiser Camp. They have control of the bottom lane, and now they have control of the mid lane. I expect that to start snowballing in their favor, and Archon looking for an opportunity to come back in. How does Archon get back into this game?
Honestly, they...
And don't say get a pick on Malfurion.
I was thinking it, but I think maybe baiting somehow. Like, they need to get cooldowns out of Washed Up and get a favorable engage.
So you mean baiting cooldowns, not baiting heroes.
Yeah.
So just forcing a mistake and then being able to capitalize on. We got a 5v5, 5v4, 5v5 counting is hard down here by the siege camp.
Artanis in the middle of the camp.
Artanis out into the middle of the team. We see the Purifier beam go off. Artanis going to be the first to fall. Garrosh looking low, gets a stun on Uriel as Genji's trying to escape. Big silence, zoning off half of that area for his team, but it's not going to be enough. Garrosh falls down, and then the rest of Washed Up slides in, going to pick off the Rainer. That's a 3-for-0 exchange on that siege camp well after it was caught. Like, that siege camp was captured. There was no reason to be fighting there, and it didn't go well for Archon.
Especially with the pressure top. I would have liked to see Archon just wait it out, and they get something on
Genji's getting caught.
Oh man, yeah.
Just standing there, gets bumped back by the ETC, and it's just not gonna work out for Genji, chilling there in a 1v4 right there.
And I've been there though. Like, I am the tank that it feels pressure to engage and like does something like that there, but they had pressure top. They could have waited.
Massive shove from the Sukov to push. Yeah, I gotcha. Sometimes you just want to make something happen, even if the best decision's not to. We do see that massive shove come out onto ETC, but it's not going to push him out into the lane. He hits the edge of the wall right next to the lane. Probably a slight miscalculation on Stukov, or just enough to disrupt. Either way, nothing really happens out of it. A quick dragon for Washed Up. They get that right after the shrines go live. This is going to be the third dragon in a row, the third dragon in about 8 minutes as well. And this probably takes a keep, if not the game.
Yeah, I think they're waiting. Oh no, Uriel's coming down. I thought they were going to wait for 20, but Uriel is coming down. Yeah, looking like a keep, or maybe walls.
The defense is a lot stronger now. A big throw from Garrosh. Uriel getting caught out. She gets silenced by the Stukov, not able to jump away. The Purifier beam chasing her out. Artanis getting caught in the blizzard. He needs snowshoes to get out of there. Garrosh makes it back in. A Hyperion going out from the large minion. Gonna put suppressing fire onto all of Washed Up. The Dragon Knight looking to kick Genji out, but a good dash by Genji to avoid it. And the Dragon Knight, like you said, walls and towers, and that's it. A huge defense for Archon, and they need to do something with it now.
Washed Up needs to take this fight right now.
Washed Up needs to take the fight?
Yeah, before
All right.
Garrosh gets here, hopefully they make something happen.
And we do see the Riptire catching out the Artanis. The shield goes up. Is it going to be enough? His armor's reduced. He gets the shield again. No, he's going off.
Big
A two-man mosh from the
there's the
ETC.
counter.
Massive shove comes out from the Stukov. Genji, Dragon's blading away, trying to stay alive. ETC slides back in, picks off the garage. A huge jump off of Ural, catching the Garrosh out. He's going to get Rudin taken out by the ETC. Stukov to follow by the Junkrat. A big set of takedowns for Washed Up. Like you said, they need to take the fight, and they did. They turned it around, took it a little bit later, probably looking for just the right opportunity in between cooldowns. And they're up by 2 characters right now.
It's looking like they want to end.
And heroic talent tiers.
Yeah, and they knocked the Garrosh out with the last dying breath of the dragon, and then Ural started coming down right as that happened.
And I think it's notable, we do see 3 blinks on Team Washed Up between Astral Communion and the 2 bolts that ETC and Jaina have. We do get the unstoppable Seraphim coming out of Ural, getting chased by the Genji. They're just going to get forced out of here. They're not going to be able to finish into Dragonshire or into the core. And it looks like as the shrines are activating, they're gonna go for the same thing. They're gonna try to get a quick dragon.
Create some map pressure. Give them something they have to address.
So if we look at,
really needs 20.
Yeah, they do.
And I don't know how they're gonna get it in time for this.
Maybe this fort up here. But so one of the things that we see looking at that fort is the map looks dominated by Washed Up, and if you were just coming into this, it wouldn't look like it's been a close game, but these fights have been one ability away from swinging the other direction every single time, and it just, for the most part, falls in favor of Washed Up. But we've seen a couple times where Archon
stayed close until like level 16. You know, they were neck and neck the entire time until level 16.
Yeah, and then Ural just ran away with the XP over Artanis, and that's where the big difference in XP really is. A big engage, ETC barely getting out of that silence.
Oh, going out huge knockback from Ural.
Big, and then the Riptire picking off Genji and the Rainer. Double mosh. Wow. Garrosh about to fall, or Garrosh goes down, Artanis about to fall. That's a 4 for nothing. Washed Up going to take this through to the core. That's an ace. That's a wipe. And looks like Washed Up
really helped out there. He swapped the ETC closer to Stukov. He said, "Hey man, I see your play. I want to help you out. Here you go."
Yeah, and it just a rough swap for his team, and that's going to take the core. First game goes to Washed Up, which I watched the Washed Up, or I covered a Washed Up game last week, and they did kind of the same thing. They just executed really well. Waited for their picks, and they just did really well with it.
That was really incredible to see, honestly, especially the fact that they stayed so close in XP.
Until
GG to both teams.
Yeah, absolutely. It was
impressive stuff coming out from both. You know, Archon really swung right there in the middle of the game. But Washed Up kind of adjusted really well. And
are you still on the stat screen?
Am I still on the stat screen?
Yeah.
No, I am not.
Oh, okay. Because there's a huge damage discrepancy.
Yeah.
And we see.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, Artanis at the top with 35k, Junkrat with 63. That's insane.
Yeah, and then Jaina following. We don't see. And so after we get past Junkrat and Jaina, we get to the Bruiser on Archon. Rainer, it looks like, just got shut down. Genji not able to get in, being bumped back by the ETC. Roots from the Malfurion, slows from the Jaina, knockbacks from the Junkrat and the Ural. Just a full, it was a full CC team on one side, and Archon just couldn't counter it.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant to show talents. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a bad person.
Yeah, the pressure from Washed Up was just too much. Like they had to respect him so much that they couldn't really get in a lot of good positions that they wanted.
So we don't know the maps yet, but based off of that game, Do you expect any bans to change? Do you think any respect bans come out? Um, and how does Archon regroup going into game number 2?
Um, I think Archon needs to pick up more wave clear. I think maybe they ban the Urel.
The Earl ban, she was very oppressive. What about the ETC? If Archon takes first pick, I think they're going for the ETC. Although they did first pick Garrosh right off the bat, but otherwise I feel like they need to deny the ETC to Washed Up.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you ban ETC, then are you gonna ban Joanna, or are you gonna leave Joanna up? You know, I think this is still like the favorable kind of. I think Archon's gonna play Garrosh again, but I hope they do it better, because it's really only 3 tanks, like Joanna, ETC, Garrosh.
Okay.
Yeah, and like that's if Joanna keeps getting banned, then it's the first team's option to take ETC or Garrosh. Yeah, I think they should take the ETC away. That matchup, ETC into Garrosh, is rough.
All right, we do have a lobby. It is Infernal Shrines. Archon does take the first pick, which means that Washed Up, it's Infernal Shrines picked by Archon picked by Washed Up because Archon having priority picked first pick. It's hard to put all those in the right order of words.
On the fly too.
Yeah. So this is a 3-lane map again, but the objective is centralized. So we'll see team fights around the objective for the most part, maybe over some camps. I don't want to see those jungle fights this time, unless it is over a camp. But there was a camp that was already captured, and then they fought over it afterwards, which seemed like even though Washed Up won it, it just seemed like a bad decision for them, as well as for Archon to try to take it. Whereas I kind of understand Archon trying to find any opportunity to get back in, and if you can get a kill and get out, that's an advantage. But I would like to see really a cleaner game on this one.
Yeah, I think Archon's gonna have a better time on this map because it's a 4-man rotation map. It's not one where you send one off to mid like Dragonshire. And one issue that game was that Genji into Jaina, Genji stays mid. Jaina rotates. You know? So Archon had to face up into a 3v4 sometimes. But their team play was really good when they could pull it off. It was actually really incredible. But yeah, hoping for Archon to make this best of 3.
Are there any heroes? We were talking about the patch notes today. Are there any heroes that got altered today that you think would do well here that you'd like to see?
Man, it came out today. I don't think we're gonna see anything very well. You know, I got to swallow my words on that because we saw Artanis, right?
We saw Artanis with that talent, Might of the Ire, or Protector of the Ire. Ire.
I think maybe Washed Up goes for something because they're coming off a win. Archon probably gonna stick to bread and butter. I'm just not sure, man. Like maybe Brightwing, maybe a different healer pick like Deckard with Ruby.
Yeah, I really like the Deckard and those Ruby changes. It twice as often. Being able to get those small little healing potions out, which those potions are huge, and people don't realize it. I was playing him earlier today.
An ETC ban.
They do ban the ETC. That's a respect ban for sure, but no Joanna ban. Looking to see them pick up Garrosh or Joanna at this point.
That's what Archon is saying right now. Are you? So we're gonna take ETC away from you. Are you going to leave up Abathur or Joanna for us?
Abathur or Joanna? They ban Zul. They leave them.
Zul.
Why Abathur here? There's the Joanna.
Nice. This is optimal for Archon. I'm feeling good for Archon right here.
So you mentioned
Abathur's always good. Abathur is always, especially on a 3-lane map, especially one with a centralized objective like that.
I think that's what you told me the other day after your match too.
Yeah, and we both banned Abathur. Yeah, this is one of his good maps.
So the issue with Deckard, there he is. There's the Deckard. I love the
And with the
Deckard, and
Mephisto.
I'm interested to see one if he takes the the armor reduction instead of the spell power, because they're both really strong. Spell power increases his healing, whereas the armor reduction increases his healing and his damage, whereas the armor break increases the damage for his entire team as long as he's
Well,
hitting those roots.
with Ruby, he increases his healing already, right?
Oh, so yes, but even those potions with field study will have their healing increased as well because of his spell power increase.
That's a tough decision,
It's
man.
and I want to talk about those talents in a second. Probably when we're loading in, we do see Stukov and Sylvanas come up. I'd be interested to see. I want to see how my build compares to what he goes with, because I think my build just got a whole lot stronger with this patch. Kerrigan comes out as a ban as well. Mephisto, a really strong mage to couple with the CC that Deckard's gonna bring. Looking to see who this other ban. Probably gonna ban a tank. Try to choke out the tank options. Deathwing's still a popular ban with his presence, but he did get a really hard nerf today.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about the... I don't think the Deathwing nerfs were enough. Just the fact that he's unstoppable is still... Oh, and they banned the Garrosh.
They do ban the Garrosh.
And I think that's odd to me, because Joanna into Garrosh is a very favorable matchup. But maybe they're thinking about the rotations. If one of their weaker members have to rotate through, Garrosh could snag a pick or something.
Well,
they also have the Deckard route to set up, so...
I also think Garrosh being able to choose when he gets healed by a Deckard with those potions gives him so much more value out of his armor. We see Yrel and Diablo coming in as bullies.
We see a Diablo. I have missed Diablo for so long. Being able to one-shot anybody, oh man.
Oh, with the diabolic momentum, I think is what it is. Or the you're talking about the Q combo into Apocalypse with the increased auto attack damage, right? Didn't they nerf that?
Just the Q combo.
Just the Q combo?
They nerfed it. This is like a year ago, man.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
Leoric and
Greymane. Oh my god.
Big tank killers right there going into Diablo and Yrel.
Look at Archon's wave clear right now.
Sylvanas. Well, no.
Yes.
Oh,
Joanna, Sylvanas, Leoric, Greymane. Like, they could maybe 4-man bot with Leoric switching off, but I don't think they're going to do that.
Oh, you think having Leoric... What if they had Greymane double soaking while the rest of them pushed?
That's oh
Hammer.
My gosh.
You know what? Stream's over. I'm going away. Sergeant Hammer.
What's going on? What's going on, man?
What?
Hammer's actually pretty good because she stays outside of the tower ranges. And the towers are super nuts right now.
I mean, but I find myself asking if the Hammer pick just makes me wonder if that's like a serious pick, though.
I'm going to assume it is.
They have a lot of, and especially with Durance of Hate as well, they do have a lot of preemptive peel for the Hammer. So, okay, I can see it working. So, what I think is interesting about the Deckard. So, I like the armor reduction. I think Field Study is also really strong with the heals, but I like the armor reduction. And then the Ruby. The problem with Ruby is your tanks have to use those heals. Those the potions from Ruby will only ever be on top of the enemy, because it's not like the potions that you can throw behind you.
Yeah, your tank has to actively go in, but they do a lot of healing. They're worth it.
Absolutely huge.
Beats on me because I don't always go in because it's not always safe. But he's like, dude, it's like so much healing in there.
It's huge, especially if it hits more than one person. And so then if you take Herodric Cube at level 7, reducing your scroll cooldown, you can chain like 3 scrolls out across a set of CC if you root and if you W before you root. Then you reset the cooldown of the root if it's a big hit, and then you can root again. You can sleep following it up, and then root during that free cast time you have during that sleep after your cast is done. It's a lot of comboing.
Sapphire coming out, man, from Deckard.
Wow, I saw someone go all 3 gems at one point the other day.
Holy. I would have thought they would have taken one of the buffed ones, but who knows?
Yeah, we do
Greymane's
see
putting
a
off
little bit
bot,
of
trying to sniff out a Sergeant Hammer push.
yeah, a bit of skirmishing in the middle lane, but not really any commitment. Again, we don't really expect to see a level 1 commitment unless you have some major questing talent at level 1. But very
I really
interesting.
like how Archon's starting this off. They just split off instantly, soaked every wave at the same time. They have lane priority right now. That's huge.
But they're not quite up on the XP. They do hit level 2 first because of this wave right here. But Washed Up is getting the same amount of soak. They're just a half step behind on the rotation, trying to avoid, it looks like, trying to avoid a full confrontation. Both teams splitting off to get their siege camps as well.
Look
It
at all
looks
those
like Washed
mines
Up.
out, man.
The what?
So much vision.
Yeah.
Sergeant Hammer mines. You're going to trade siege camps right now. Joanna checking bot.
Yep, Joanna not wanting to give up that middle siege camp. It's going to provide a lot of pressure leading into that first objective. I'm looking for an early bruiser camp as well, with the first objective being in the bot lane. A big stun. Well, not a stun because an unstoppable Leoric, but Diablo
really
charging in, trying to catch the Leoric.
I don't think you should take bruiser camp on objective, especially here, unless you have something huge to push with it. They do have the Sylvanas and Greymane, so that could come out, but usually the bruiser camp is strongest right before objective to like force your opponent.
That's kind of what I meant. Like grab the bruiser camp and then rotate to objective, so it's pushing during the objective.
Oh, got it.
Because it does have a lot of sustain on its own.
Oh, and they catch Stukov bot. Oh my god.
Stukov going to be first blood for Washed Up. Falling. They get a lot of Archon gets a lot of damage on Washed Up, but they can't focus the damage out. Both the tank and Hammer at half health. Looks like a lot more damage going on to Diablo instead. They're gonna have to figure out who they're gonna take out first. Even if it is a Diablo first that gets rid of the threat, they just need to focus the damage, hitting who they can and taking them out.
Yep.
And so
There's a lot to engage on.
Yeah, so we do see this bruiser camp coming out for Washed Up, kind of like we were talking about. Deckard pre-potting so that they can heal on their way down. I'm surprised he's not pre-potting down at the objective, however. Bruiser camp coming out for Archon at the same time. Yeah, I guess Hammer does need it. Those bruiser camps both getting capped at the same time. Sylvanas coming down to not activate this Molten Shrine. This is a Molten Punisher, so we will still have the Archon and the Frozen Punisher, or the Arcane and the Frozen Punishers coming up later. Molten Punisher, nothing really to write home about. It has a little bit of surprise damage, but nothing special. They do get a big engage onto the Greymane. Greymane not getting out, very low health. Mephisto able to pick him off before he goes back on his shade. Mephisto looking low himself, but he's able to stay in. Joanna getting bullied away, having to unstoppable away, get her shield to stay alive. Leoric getting flipped by the Diablo. Wraithwalk to get out. Washed Up just manhandling Archon around this shrine.
Yep, their team fight is proving to be stronger right now.
We do see the Ruby come out from Deckard Cain and Kainai's Cube for the damage reduction, which is going to be big going into the rest of these fights. That's a big level 7 for Deckard. People, including myself, really underestimate damage reduction as opposed to bigger numbers or repeated routes. A 3-man route from Deckard Cain, gonna set up a kill on Leoric, but they trade Mephisto and Diablo for it. They trade the whole team, really.
Archon with a huge response. And they get the cap.
They do get the cap. Sylvanas trying to finish off the Ural and the Deckard Cain, not able to. Look at all those unused potions, though. They just disappeared. Those little potions. John Cena jumping over, landing on the Deckard Cain, chasing out Ember on the Deckard. Ember trying to stay alive. Telling the Punisher, stay a while and get off of me. First fort goes to Archon. This is definitely the turnaround they needed if we want to see a game 3.
Oh my gosh, it's pushing. It's a 75% health Punisher pushing on keep walls at 5
and it's
minutes.
a Molten Punisher. Like
yeah. Power of Sylvanas, man.
Yeah, Sylvanas huge. Able to shut down those structures, keeping the Punisher alive.
But
Punisher pushing on the keep, but no help from his team anymore. This Sylvanas about to fall as my mouse takes us somewhere else. Sylvanas does go down. Looked like she was going to stay alive, but Hammer able to finish it off. Joanna unstoppable with her trait. Iron Skin trying to walk away. Mephisto jumps in, able to get a little bit of damage off. Not a whole lot, though, having to follow up. Diablo sticking with Joanna, trying to get ahead, flip her back, but no, instead she does get out. The cube comes out from Decker to help with the slows, but getting into that wave and that catapult. Washed
really
Up
nice
just
job
doesn't
from
want to risk
Virtuoso.
it. You what?
Really nice job from Virtuoso.
Yeah, they it's kind of surprising that they didn't want to finish the kill, but at the same time, they can't afford to get caught, especially because level 10s did just get picked up for Archon because of that lane advantage. And we see Wailing Arrow, Massive Shove, Entomb, Blessed Shield, and Cursed Bullet coming from Archon. That's going to be a big engage, and then able to push out the Diablo so they can just wreak havoc on the rest of the team. Maybe push out the Urel. They both have a lot of disruption capability. It's kind of hard to pick unless Urel's not there, of course.
We get 10s on the side of Washed Up. We're going to have Ardent Defender, Endurance of Hatred from Mephisto, Lornado from Deckard.
That one did just get its cooldown reduced in the patch.
And we get APOC.
And Napalm Strike, good area control from Washed Up. This is definitely going to be, we got a hard engage versus hard area control. APOC comes out, a big root from Decker Kane. Hammer is going to finish off the Stukov as Diablo charges in on a minion, trying to get close to the rest of the teams. Sylvanas and Greymane just going to walk on out. Joanna says, I have a shield.
Reduced by 5 seconds.
Yes, oh, she took Iron Will, or whatever it's called.
Yep.
Hold your ground. Iron Skins cooldown reduction.
Crazy stuff.
So Urel trying to defend off the middle lane while both teams are getting their bruiser camps. They are getting prepped for this middle objective that's going to spawn here. It will be the second objective. It will either be an Arcane or a Frozen Punisher. Joanna looking for the invade. Archon following up. They get to the bruiser camp, but not in time. The bruiser camp is capped. A big Entomb catching the Diablo, and then he gets silenced. That was big play on the Diablo, but Joanna's the one who falls instead. Leoric walking out of the root thanks to his Wraith Walk. Mephisto following in. Euro jumping on the Leoric, knocks him into tower range. Diablo following it up. Hammer, Napalm Strike to finish off the Leoric. A big chase, but it paid off for Washed Up. They go 2-0 on the fight, leading into this shrine. Leoric normally would not be back up in time for this shrine, but how can you kill that which has no life? Leoric will be back in time.
Especially when he eases in aggressively. But yeah, he's already up.
Yeah, he's up.
Barely
the shrine is
seconds.
active, waiting on someone to click it to start killing the minions. Archon looking for a fight, not even interested in the shrine yet. Condemn catches the Diablo. Diablo loses a little bit of health, but thanks to that spell armor, he's going to get out without really taking any damage. Picks up the potion from Deckard. Mephisto jumping in. Lightning Nova doesn't really hit anyone. He bounces back. Diablo back in the front.
XP.
They hit level 13s at the same time. You can see all those talents being picked up without time to look at them. A big engage. Stunned onto the Diablo. APOC goes, no, that's a Napalm Strike. And Leoric with the Entomb gets trapped himself. Leoric goes down.
Like
Apocalypse comes out.
Too.
Diablo getting killed with his 100 souls. Joanna to follow as well. 2v1 in favor of Washed Up, especially because they still have Diablo back. Ooh, what a mouthful. Now Washed Up does have the advantage in the shrine. Looks like they are going to finish it up first. Archon going to be on the back foot coming into the second Punisher. They should be able to defend it fairly well, although it is a frozen Punisher, so it will neutralize buildings. Fortunately, it's pushing against Sylvanas instead of with Sylvanas, so it's not going to be a frozen Punisher and Sylvanas being absolutely destructive. It does jump over the wall, freezes the fort. Gonna get a lot of damage. You see a Lornado come out of Decker Kane trying to pick someone off, but it's not gonna grab anyone. The Punisher going down really fast before it even gets halfway through the fort. The Punisher at less than a third health and changes to PvP mode to follow Leoric. Gets back onto the fort. Looks like it will go down now. They'll go down at about the same time. That objective is over. No exchange of blood once the Punisher is up, though.
Diablo's taking Devastating Charge at 13. And the more interesting talent at 13, from Washed Up is Ancient Blessings from Deckard.
You don't see that a whole lot. That's the activate, right? Empowers hero techs.
Yeah, splash for 8 seconds on basic attacks. And it heals. So, yeah, really crazy stuff coming out.
We get an unstoppable from Joanna, stopping her from getting stopped by the Holy. That's a lot of stops. Stopping her from getting caught by the Apocalypse. Tornado catches the Greymane for a little bit, but he's still going to walk out. Mephisto getting trapped by the Entomb on the back end of his Shade. Mephisto going down. Archon ready to play.
And Archon's up by almost half a level right now.
Yeah,
it looks pushed on and got out of it with more XP.
Yeah, and that down fort passive XP going to work for them. Let's see if I can find the right button for it. They have a 1,500 advantage in passive XP, and that's about the difference in XP right now. So that early fort doing a lot of work for them. And they really want to win this game and not get swept by Washed Up. And they're doing a great job. They're getting a good push in the mid lane. They took the bottom siege camp, and they invaded and took Washed Up siege camp. Lornado comes out over the Napalm Strike. Euro is able to jump across it. A big condemn from the Joanna. Catches the Diablo. Diablo goes down to Leoric, and so does Yrel. Leoric getting a big entomb on Mephisto and Deckard, catching both of them. Durns the Hate comes out from Tickle Mephisto, able to stop the Leoric in his tracks, and that's going to give Washed Up an opportunity to disengage. Archon's still going to be able to push with Black Arrows onto that fort and said that, but they are going to go past it, try to get aggressive. They catch the Mephisto. The root from Deckard Cain, not enough to hold him off. And again, we see 9 potions not picked up in the mid lane, but that Ruby probably came a little bit late, not able to get the heal off. But again, it just shows how much healing is available from Deckard. It just doesn't get used.
Yeah, and Stukov actually has 4,000 more healing done, even with the Ruby changes. But yeah, that fight, kind of hard to see. You know, pre-16 engage feels bad, man. But I'm still hopeful for Washed Up. They got 3 keeps. They're on 16. They're about to have Mephisto up. Just clear some stuff, get their head back together, and go win this fight. I mean, they have more kills. They've been winning a lot of team fights. They take this at even levels, they could get back in here. But Archon is already set up on the objective, looking like a rough engage.
Yeah. And we are going to get that engage. I heard a cursed bullet go out from Greymane. Yrel, Ardent Defender, just in time. Big Apocalypse combo from Diablo. But Endurance of Hate comes out. Greymane able to get out after being comboed on. And then we see Sylvanas jumping in and then jumping back out. There goes some healing from those little potions. Diablo going to pick up the rest. It feels good to watch those get picked up. A big exchange. 4 ults for 3 and no kills, which, if my math is correct, that leaves Archon, now with the Cursed Bullet back up as well, into a advantage coming in.
Yep, and we just saw get used on Diablo.
Yeah, melting the Diablo. Diablo goes down faster than it takes to say it. Lornado goes out, again, not getting the separation that we would hope to see from Lornado as Yrel jumps away, not able to get away. Sylvanas, with the arrows, able to pick her up. So now they're going to fall back and work on the Shrine. At least Greymane is. The rest of the team looking to push with Black Arrows.
This is nice. This is an end play right here. This is them trying to say, all right, we've had enough.
We're going to get the objective and walk it in. And they're softening the field for the Punisher to come in.
Yep.
All right, they do back off, though. It is a 3-man defense into a 4-man push under towers. They don't really want to deal with that. So they're coming back up to this objective that's about to be finished up by Greymane. And Sylvanas should have her Black Arrows up. Let's see if I can find an indicator. I cannot. Although something I do want to look at is with CC, you see out of the healers having the most CC for their teams, while Sylvanas and Stukov do grab this Bruiser camp. Looks like they're waiting to get that last Guardian until the absolute last moment to have as strong as possible objective to march.
They're getting 20.
They're going to get level... Yeah, so they're looking for level 20. They're trying to get more map pressure with the camps before they go up and finish. And that's something that you really only see out of these organized teams. Nothing you'll really ever get out of a pug, because everybody just wants to finish up the objective and march it through and say end, 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 instead of doing it strategically, and that's something else that I really like seeing out of this level of play. But so you see 130 seconds of CC coming out of Deckard Cain, 232 from Stukov, and really not a whole lot of actual CC time from Diablo, but it's been effective when he's used it.
Yep. He's really got to pick his moments. But yeah, I mean, supreme optimization coming out from Archon, and they use the black arrows on the towers.
Right, they are back
looks
up.
like this is gonna be a keep.
The Arcane Punisher does jump over. It's pushing onto the enemy heroes, while the rest of Archon is pushing the fort, the keep rather. The healing well gonna go down. No more Sippy from the top lane. Now John Cena going on to the keep, saying never mind. Jumps onto Diablo. He wants to take out the Lord of Terror. The
Watch
keep
out for Buried
falls.
Alive. Buried Alive.
There's the Buried Alive level 20 improvement on Entomb, silencing the Diablo so he can't even charge out of it. Big kill for Archon. Gonna jump onto Chaotic on Yrel. And it looks like they're backing off from the core for a second. Mephisto getting the root on Leoric. Archon backing off instead of going for the finish. Deckard Cain falling. He gets the Lornado off in time to try to push him away. But a big defense coming out. I still think the call would be to finish, but they backed off and hesitated. And now they're getting beat up just in the base, but not on anything.
Yeah, Hammer is a lot to deal with, especially if you can't get the engage on him. And they just blew everything.
So the suppression from Hammer is what's keeping them from finishing?
Yeah, that splash.
Oh, the splash, yeah.
But the Buried Alive
Buried Alive
again.
again. Hammer going down for the count. Leoric with the big finish on Hammer. Wraith walking out to try to catch the Yrel. Gets the Drain Hope, but Yrel, ardent defender to stay alive. Gonna do what she can with the core's frozen orbs to try to get rid of Archon, but it's not gonna be enough. Archon taking game number 2.
The GGs come out. Very impressive from Archon. That was exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him pick up wave clear and dominate, and they picked exactly what fights they wanted, and then they hit 20 on the third objective. Just, yeah, that was incredible.
And we see a lot better numbers coming from Archon on the stat sheet. Still sitting way behind Saber for damage, but the damage was a lot more effective. Mephisto and Sergeant Hammer bringing a lot of damage to the fights, but Greymane and Sylvanas were able to use it a lot more effectively.
Yeah, that it was just the stars aligned for Archon, and Washed Up put up a really good fight, but Archon just said, "No, sir, you will not sweep us." But
right.
Yeah, Taco, thank you so much for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, you got a thing, you gotta go. So leaving me for game 3 on my own. But it's
Duty
been
calls. I'm so sorry.
It's been wonderful having you, Zammy. Thank you so much. You have a good evening, and I'll talk to you
too.
soon.
Yeah, it was wonderful co-casting, and you are an incredible person to learn from, by the way. So yeah,
how so?
fun,
I'm just in
3.
lowly gold. You've been a master. I should be learning from you.
No, man. There's no way I could track what's going on and like speak as fast as you are with all these abilities. Like I called Riptire Junk Rattle, like, and that's how like I name things in comms. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. GG's to both teams, and yeah, see you later, man.
All right, thank you so much. You have a good one, and I'll see you soon.
All right, peace.
All right, so an incredible game or incredible match so far. We thank you for the follow, Cyber Silver Fatal. It's really glad to. I'm really glad to have you. It's really great to have you. Those are the words I was trying to say, just all together. Zammy, fantastic guy to have with us. I'm glad we could have him for 2 of the games. We are going into game 3, and we're going to Towers of Doom. It looks like Washed Up did take first pick, meaning Towers of Doom is being picked by Archon, and this is going to be a big third game. We're waiting on the teams to be readied up, and then we'll get going. But again, just crazy game back and forth. Looks like both teams are ready. And seeing is believing. Both teams were indeed ready. We are now in the draft lobby for Towers of Doom. Washed Up with the first pick, getting the first ban going out right now. I'm really interested to see how Washed Up can come back. I'm really interested to see what Archon does to stay ahead. Also, Bay Street 8, Bay State, I get it. Thank you for the follow. We see the ETC ban coming out again from Archon. That's they really don't want to deal with that again. Not Diablo, that's Deathwing. Deathwing getting banned by Washed Up. He has a lot of suppression on objective. He has a lot of map presence. Deathwing still a threat overall despite the nerfs today. The Joanna ban coming from Washed Out. Again, she's just a good ban overall. And Virtuoso played Joanna really well. So it's a good ban to see coming from Washed Up. Zool also getting banned by Archon. Again, he did get nerfed today. I haven't really been able to see him played yet. But his overall survivability and damage should have been dropped. Sober picking up Sylvanas. Again, we get a Sugar Plum Fairy skin out of Sylvanas. Garrosh and Zarya getting picked up for Archon. A big frontline presence out of Archon. Thank you for the biddies, Zammy. Really appreciate it. Zammy with the 69 bits for Cheer 69. Anna, I guess as she says her own name. Anna and Mal'Ganis getting picked up. Mal'Ganis very disruptive on the front line. Anna able to help secure kills with her heal block and also her sleeps to set up kills. Looking for hard engages from the sleep team of Mal'Ganis and Anna. I still maintain that ANA is Anna and ANNA is Anna. But apparently she says her name differently. We do see Junkrat coming out for Archon. Junkrat really disruptive. We saw him played really well by Washed Up on the Shrine, on Dragonshire, where there's point control. And this is a similar thing. It's still very much a point control map with these altars. You just have to channel while you're on it. And so Junkrat going to be very disruptive with the bombs and also his mines. Rhaegar being banned by Washed Up. Malfurion getting picked up this time by Archon instead of being picked up by Washed Up. An interesting change of pace. Raynor following up the Malfurion. The large minion Jimmy getting picked up by Midnight Haze. Archon ready to bring a lot of pressure. Zarya is going to bring a lot of damage with that point control. Malfurion roots. And Raynor just going to be able to attack away, especially with the Garrosh setups. I expect to see an ace in the hole out of Raynor at level 1 instead of give him some pepper or whatever, seasoned marksman. Medivh, the second Medivh I've seen in NGS this season. Medivh getting picked up by Washed Up and Malthael to finish out the team. Malthael executes, gonna be big. Probably gonna go on a pale horse to double soak, and so we'll see a 4-man in the bot lane by Washed Up. I expect Archon to do something similar because the bottom lane is the control lane on this map. Whoever controls bottom lane controls the map and will probably win. We see Leoric coming out again for Archon. They really did well with the Leoric that second game. Probably going to try to follow the same trend. Leoric is going to be the off lane. He's going to be the clear. And he's going to be countering Malthael with the double soak. Although last we saw, Malthael kind of overall wins that exchange. Well, let's see how Leoric holds up to it.
And Malthael with a Pale Horse at level 1 will have a better team fight presence as well, because he can rotate to the rest of the team pretty well on his own. And it's just it's overall a good presence from the Angel of Death. However, Leoric, the Black King, is he's undead already, so it's kind of hard to be killed by a Malthael at that point, but some still manage to do so. We are in the Towers of Doom. And we didn't run it down last time, unfortunately. But we do have Chaotic on Malthael, Fade on Mal'Ganis, Ember on Ana, Sober on Sylvanas, and Keep 6 on Medivh, going up against, let me bring it over here even though you can't see it, JTR on Zarya, Midnight Haze on Raynor, Littlebex on Malfurion, Fatal Rampage on Leoric, and Virtuoso on Garrosh. We get a good faith, good luck, have fun from Archon. This is game 3. Winner takes the match. But most of all, it is a game. We do want them to have fun. Looking at the teams as they're coming out for this skirmish in the mid lane, Archon has a good engage. But so does Washed Up. Their engage is a little bit more. Oh, a big pick from Garrosh. Mal'Ganis getting tossed out and then rooted. He's going to get out, though, missing a quarter health. Leoric getting worn down by Sylvanas. Going to get really low, but he's also going to survive. Both teams rotate down to the bottom. The offlaners go up to the top lane to start getting their own soak. Big stun from Garrosh as well. He's probably trying to build up that ward. No, he takes body check at level 1. Medivh already 16 stacks into his 40 stack quest. Very impressive. And we see Exterminator coming, Exterminator coming from the Raynor. That's an interesting decision on this map. Probably trying to get that camp control. Also the wave clear. But just a questionable decision going into Washed Up on this, again, on Towers of Doom. Both teams do manage to get their sapper camps with minimal exchange. Zarya trying to yell and call names at Washed Up, though, however, with those grenades. The red sapper camp is marching in. Washed Up trying to get rid of it so that theirs can march, but both sapper camps will probably just get cleared out as Malthael is leading the XP lead. Both teams just trying to get to level 4s and then hold on to a talent advantage if they can get it. Medivh already at 30 stacks, just about almost done with level 1 or with his baseline quest. He does pick up Portal Mastery to place both portals and also stay in Raven form as he does so. Also providing a slow for anybody that does go through the portal. They'll slow any nearby targets. A big root coming out, a throw from Garrosh, and engaged by Mal'Ganis going in, trying to get some sleeves up, but Mal'Ganis is going to fall as first blood instead, getting stunned by the Garrosh and picked off by the Zarya. Zarya able to finish him off pretty handily, and now they're going to start pushing into that bottom lane, or that bottom fort. Objective is starting to spawn. I more than expect Malthael and Leoric will trade altars up in the top, and we'll have a 4v4 here in the bottom lane. If Malthael can get to that altar a little bit quicker and cap it, he may be able to come down and beat Leoric down here to turn this into a 5v5. But Zarya is getting poked out. Mal'Ganis is showing up. Washed Up, not wanting to engage without their tank. Both offlaners do come down into and join the fray. We do have a 5v5 over this altar. Portaling in by Medivh, and then he protals out. It is a protal, not a portal. Big throw onto Mal'Ganis from Garrosh, getting him caught in his team, but Mal'Ganis able to Fell Claws out and then stun the Leoric with the last charge of the Fell Claws. Portal from Medivh going in way deep. Force of protection to keep him alive so he can get back out, and he Ravens
to go into support mode for his team. A big Arcane Rift, Arcane Rift from Medivh, and that's going to take out Raynor. He does have all 40 stacks of Arcane Rift, so those are going to be really potent. And they're able to take out Raynor, Garrosh, and Malfurion. A huge pressure out onto Archon. Washed Up, coming back into this third game with a vengeance. And we do see Ana starting to get this third altar. They're going to go ahead and cap it and start moving on with the map. Those empowered Mercenary Queen, the Sappers, doing a lot of damage to the wall and tower. A big steal on that camp for Washed Up, and then as they go back through the portals to kind of hide where they're going to get that siege camp, their own siege camp rather, Archon trying to figure out where they are. And we get more offlaning from Malthael and Leoric. They're just going back and forth, doing their thing, trying to freeze lanes, trying to get the XP, and then rotate around. But Malthael getting caught out by the Garrosh, gets thrown into the rest of the team. Portals coming in from Medivh, his team coming in to save. Big Felclaws from Mal'Ganis. His sleep does get interrupted, though. He's able to get it off the second time. Malthael overall getting saved, and that was the whole point of the play. Archon's plan disrupted by Washed Up. Big stun onto Medivh. Medivh gets thrown, he's protected, he gets to his portal, but now and then used it to go away. Mal'Ganis sleeping away. He does have his healing reduced, but not enough, so he does get out just fine. Archon looking really low. 3-man running away from the rest of the team, leaving Zarya and Leoric behind in a 4v2. They're going to fall. Medivh getting the kills, going back into Raven form, saying, nah, man, I wasn't there. Garrosh coming back in with a vengeance, able to get a stun onto Medivh. Medivh's going to go ahead and escape. Washed Up not looking to fight under the fort. And they're going to regroup coming into this next set of objectives. Both altars down here around the bottom lane. This is going to be a big objective. Potential for an 8-point swing in either team's favor. And I expect Malthael and Leoric to come down. Leoric's worrying about his soak in the mid lane. Malthael coming down to get this mid altar, and Archon just not trying to engage. Uncontested bot altar capped by Ana. Sylvanas coming to get this mid altar, and Archon just not showing up. They are down by heroic talents, and they just don't want to risk getting killed and caught and killed by these heroics. Malthael taking Tormented Souls instead. Going for continuous Reaper's Marks. Able to get multiple Wraith Strikes out if he times them appropriately with this ultimate. And then we get Carrion Swarm from Mal'Ganis, Nano Boost from Ana, Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas, and Leyline Seal from the Medivh. Archon going for their own fort, or going for their own siege camp. Medivh leading the damage charts by almost double Raynor's damage. A stacked Medivh builds up so strong, Medivh stacking that quickly is going to be a huge presence in the rest of these fights, and will probably swing a lot of these fights in his favor. He does drop down. Mal'Ganis gets stunned and thrown by the Garrosh. He goes in. He gets protected by the Medivh. Portal goes out, but Mal'Ganis chooses not to use it. Instead, he's going to Carrion Swarm onto the rest of Archon, getting stunned again by the Garrosh. Felclaw's in. Leyline Seal goes out, stopping just as Zarya, getting a sleep out on Garrosh, but it's not going to be enough. A big Entomb comes out from the Leoric to help his team. Zarya in the wrong position. Malthael trying to help out his team. Medivh gets caught and killed by the Raynor. The rest of Washed Up trying to get out alive, but Malthael's going to fall as well. Raynor just picking them off. Lots of big damage. Lots of effective damage, I should say. And Archon's going to take this 2-0 victory in that fight and steal a siege camp as this altar pops up, and they'll get this altar just fine on their own. This will be their second altar cap of the game as my chair almost dumps me out. Taco, where you going? And they're back in this game. They're only down by 2 altars now, 8 core points. And it's going to, that's not the button I wanted to press. And it's going to be, that's not worth showing you either. It's going to be a pretty good fight from now on. They're at about even experience, looking to stay on the same talent tier and actually engage in fights.
We see a fairly substantial difference in healing between Malfurion and Ana. And a lot of that translating with this damage, though. So the difference in healing kind of makes up for the difference in damage. And Washed Up looks like is executing the fights overall better, but that last fight did go in Archon's favor, and that's going to be really important coming into these next sets of altars. So we do have Repulsion Zone, Hyperion, Twilight Dream, Entomb, and Warlord's Challenge from Archon to finish up looking at those ultimates. And both teams just waiting for this next altar to spawn. It does finally pop up in about 30 seconds. A 1 altar skirmish. I expect a full 5v5 in the bot lane as Fade dashing in with the Fell Claws, trying to get a catch. Garrus throwing him over into the tower's area, but not quite in range of the tower. Leoric getting a big Wraith walk out. Looks like he did take Ominous Wrath to reduce hero damage. That's a huge talent. He's going to be able to reduce the Washed Up's damage by 50% while he's in Wraithwalk, and then for 4 seconds afterwards, a big expulsion zone coming out from Zarya, pushing Washed Up around. Sylvanas gonna fall, despite the Leyline Seal suppressing some of Archon. Leoric goes down 2 to the Malthael. Hyperion goes out, but it's more for zoning at this point, not getting a whole lot of damage out. Portal getting Ana and Medivh to safety, while Mal'Ganis in the front line trying to suppress the Raynor finally puts him to sleep. Garrosh getting awakened. Big Fell Claws onto Zarya, disrupting her. She gets shielded and into the fray, out of the fray in time. She's going to stay alive. A big extra effort onto Zarya, but not quite enough to finish her off. Mal'Ganis goes to the other side into lane. Medivh going into Raven form to stay alive. And it looks like Zarya is going to cap this objective. A 2 altar streak in favor of Archon. They're now 1 altar out, and they are very much still in this game. And we see a 3-man push in the bot lane. It looks like Archon is trying to start getting that advantage in the bot lane. Neither team has taken the bottom fort from the other, but they really need to if they want to get control. Especially this next set of objectives is going to be down here with Leoric and Malthael trading in the top. And so a big fight here. If Washed Up can take this fort from they have names, Archon. If Washed Up can take the fort from Archon, then they will restrict Archon's access to this objective by really hard. They'll have to come in from the top of the lane. Both teams trying to get an engage. Garrosh going to be able to catch Mal'Ganis out. Big taunt onto Mal'Ganis. Mal'Ganis going to get off Carrion Swarm to stay alive, heal up a little bit and leave. We hear Wailing Arrow come out. Wraithwalk to suppress damage and Entomb. The Entomb misses, so he's going to go ahead and drop it. But Washed Up at level 16 now, they get those talents. Archon probably going to back off. They don't want to fight a talent down. Level 16 is huge spikes, especially with this set of altars coming up now. They don't want to be down anybody going into this objective. But yes, if you can get the fort in the bottom lane, then access to these altars is really restricted to basically the channel by the Sapper camp and your mid lane if it's for that middle set of altars. So you can really only access this altar down here through the top of the bottom lane. Garrosh trying to get a channel out. Both offlaners do trade altars as predicted. But Garrosh is not able to get the channel. Too much harass from the Ana and the Medivh and the Sylvanas. Mal'Ganis looking for a play. Fade walks past Garrosh. Virtuoso staying mounted, not wanting to pick off the Mal'Ganis. Instead, looking for a bigger play. Tosses Sylvanas away. 4-man sleep from Mal'Ganis. He gets taunted but protected by Medivh. And we see Malthael ulting. He goes out, putting out a lot of area damage. A Leyline Seal catching 3 of them. Leoric the first to wake up and getting caught, or taking a lot of damage from Washed Up, but he's going to get out just fine. Malthael coming in, capturing the first contested altar for Washed Up in a good while. Medivh trying to get the rest of his team out with those portals away from Archon. Archon not looking to follow up. Again, we're at the point in the game where any mistake is costly.
Archon really looking to get that altar though to tie up the core damage, but at this point, they're happy to still be in by just 8 points. There's a lot of opportunity to capitalize on a mistake and go for a win. A sleep coming out from Ana, not going to be enough, or not going to hit Garage. He's going to keep walking in. Wraithwalk from the Leoric to suppress a lot of the damage. Big throw on by Garage, going to stun Malthael and Mal'Ganis, but they are going to manage to steal the objective. Malthael just going to kill that siege, that sapper right there, so we don't get to see how it's going to path after walking so far away. A big engage overall. Sylvanas dashing in and then walking out. We see the ult coming from Malthael, the protected Mal'Ganis. Carrion swarming, trying to get some damage out. Archon looking in bad shape. They get leyline sealed and stopped. A pain train, I believe it's gain train coming out, giving Leoric some movement speed. Sylvanas getting out with double-digit health, almost single-digit health. Zarya finishing off the Mal'Ganis. Archon getting the advantage going into the set of altars. They're going to chase. They're going to try to pick out the Mal'Ganis. The Entomb misses, not able to catch Malthael. Not Mal'Ganis. Mal'Ganis is already dead. Malthael is down, or almost down, stays alive. This next objective up top could be big for Archon. Looks like they're going to try to get this fort and reduce how many shots that that Washed Up gets off of this altar. They might get it down in time. It looks like they do. That not in time to get an extra shot from Leoric's altar cap, but enough to reduce the damage from this other one to only 3, putting them now down only 7 points of core damage. And they're going to try to get control of the bottom lane. At this point, I think it's Archon's game. They have the bottom fort, and it looks like they're going to try to maintain control. Standing on this side of the fort, they have it right here to retreat under in case the fight starts going sour. But Sylvanas can disable it if she needs to stay in a fight. Looking for an engage. Garage trying to get a throw into tower range. And he finds Mal'Ganis. Does throw the Mal'Ganis after he starts the Fellclaw, so he can still Fellclaw around. He gets protected by the Medivh. We see a leyline seal come out from Medivh as Hyperion's going out. Malfurion going to be the first to fall. Medivh with the kill. Raynor following, large minion kill. Count that as a CS for Malthael. Garage goes down to the Medivh as well. Portal's coming out. He's going to jump over Arcane Rift out onto Zarya and Leoric. Zarya, low health, gets her shield up in time, but it's not going to be enough to keep her alive. She falls to Medivh as well. Medivh finishing off the Leoric. That is a 5-for-0 exchange. Real big coming from words are hard. Real big fight coming from mainly the Medivh, doing a lot of work there. Huge exchange for Washed Up. Again, we are going to have a 1 ultra objective. It's going to be up in 8 seconds. Only 3 members of Archon going to be alive. They're going to have to give it up. And I'm sorry, I did not show you the fort going down. Big win for Washed Up right there. And they get a 5-shot altar, returning to a lead of 12 on core damage. Archon now having to get this bottom fort back. Medivh leading the team with 7 kills, followed by Malthael. Medivh just being a workhorse. Mr. Plow, thank you for the follow. Washed Up trying to get these sappers in past the line, get 3 more damage out on the core, which would mean the next altar would finish off the game. But Archon stopping the sappers, not going to let them walk in. Yes, they do kill all 3. Not going to let the sappers do core damage today. Hyperion going out there, going to try to get this fort as soon as they can. But Washed Up trying to counter engage, protect the fort. We see the sleep come out from Fade, but Mal'Ganis not going to get anywhere with it. And Archon trying to figure out how they're going to engage under this tower. And Washed Up has all 5 of them there. Leoric nowhere to be seen. He's off in the middle lane. Archon waiting for their 5th man, trying to find someone they can pick off. We see the Wraithwalk come out and he's going to reduce the damage of 2 of the enemy heroes, but it's not going to last long enough for it to last into the fight. Felclaws comes out, a 2-man stun on the Felclaws, followed by a sleep from Ana, and they get a big stun onto Garrosh. The taunt comes out. Garrosh staying alive. A big entomb coming out of Leoric. They're going to catch Sylvanas and Mal'Ganis. Leoric going to follow up, trying to get to the Medivh. They are able to push down the fort. Lots of armor reduction onto Leoric, tanking all of that damage for him. That fort goes down. Altars are up. Malthael looking to get this top altar. Leoric going to come up and try to interrupt it. He does get the Draining Hope to stop the Malthael from capping that altar. Malfurion going to get this bottom one on his own. This is a big opportunity again for Archon. Going to cap this middle altar as well. Not going to get contested. Leoric is going to start the channel, probably keep interrupting it, trying to give his team time to get this fort here, get an extra point of damage, but he does want to be most of the way through the channel, just in case someone comes to interrupt him, he'll be able to finish it off. They do get it. He is going to finish capping. That is a big altar for Archon. They are now down by just 3 points, and they're taking the siege camp while they're up 5-2. Try to get these sappers walked in, and that would even the score. This sapper camp that Leoric's working on would give them the advantage if they can march all of them in. If they can only get 3 in, that's still a big win. Even if they don't get any, it forces a defense from Washed Up, taking up time while Leoric gets some soak and maybe some pressure on the other lanes and stalling for this next altar that will be in the middle. Big engage. Mal'Ganis trying to get some Felclaws off. We hear a taunt coming out from Garrosh, but it's not going to do much. He gets the stun on Malthael, not able to get the throw. Mal'Ganis coming in and posturing enough to scare off the Garrosh. There's the throw. Mal'Ganis getting thrown. He goes Carrion Swarm. He's in the stasis. He's trying to get some damage and some healing out. It's not going to be enough. Drain Hope on the Ana. Leoric getting slept, however, not able to get away. Malthael Nano trying to get out as much damage as possible with his trait and those strikes. We see a big dive in from Sylvanas, suppressing that keep, not letting it attack her teammates in this big fight. Malfurion the first to fall, followed by Malthael. Both teams looking low and in bad shape. Both teams still have a support on their team to help them out. Malthael is able to return to life, though, using his level 20. So this is a 5v4 right now in this bot lane. Both teams looking bad. Malthael is going to be at full health. This objective is spawning in 20 seconds. That might be enough time if Washed Up wants to take this fort back to at least reduce the damage, but this altar will give Archon the advantage going into this fight if they're able to get it. Leoric going back just in time for the rest of Washed Up to come down and know they are man up on this fight. Leoric taking the tunnel. He's going to be back. He didn't heal up all the way because he needed to get back to his team. And Malthael channeling. Just they're going to give up the 3, or Archon giving up the 3 points on their core. And a boss play from Washed Up is not enough to finish off, but it'll leave them at 1. It'll leave them 1 point away from winning the match. Leoric sees it, tries to get an engage. He's not going to be able to contest. Big boss from Washed Up. Archon's core 1 health. Washed Up still not with the map control. This is going to be one hell of a fight over the next set of altars. Both altars, or 2 altars, are going to be up for this next objective, and it's these 2 right here on the left and the right. Those will both be game for Archon, and even if they get both, it'll leave Washed Up with 1 core point left, and that's going to be one hell of a thing to see. Lots of wave clear coming out from Washed Up, trying to get to where they can take this keep back. Archon trying to hold on and get the keep, or trying to hold on to the keep so that they can tie up the match, or tie up the game over that last set of altars. This is one of the closest games of Towers of Doom I've ever seen, especially if this goes in favor of Archon up there. So they're going to have to cap their own while delaying the cap on theirs. And at this point, I would almost expect Washed Up to try to sneak Archon's altar while Archon tries to disrupt them and secure the win. Archon getting in position to take Washed Up. Leoric going to go ahead and cap his team's at a disadvantage, 4v5 going into this altar. over here. They just need to delay. Hyperion coming out as the delay. Leoric finishes the altar. Leyline Seal on the garage. Leoric shows up. Big throw onto Mal'Ganis and Malthael. Malthael falls. Mal'Ganis gonna follow. He carry on swarms, but not in time. He goes down into the fray on Malfurion. Malfurion hopefully trying to get a root out. He gets the slow with the Moonfire. And Malfurion going to start the capture while the rest of the team frontline for him. Instead, he goes off to start putting out heals. He gets the root out. A big protect from Medivh. On Medivh, he portals out. And a fly-in from Sylvanas trying to get out some extra damage. Leoric able to cap the altar. It's a 1-to-1 core matchup right now. I don't believe it. This is going to be absolutely insane. Next point wins. This is sudden death as we know it. This is game 3 of a heroic level matchup. And the next core point wins. Malthael returning using his level 20. Expulsion zone coming out from Zarya to get a catch on Medivh. Medivh survives with so low health that the game's not even going to tell me what it is. He's back up to over 500. He's backing. He's going to try to heal up at the fountain. There is a Sapper camp pushing in from Archon, and the next altar is only one altar. A fight to the death over one altar coming up next, unless Archon can push this Sapper camp in. I don't believe so. Entomb comes out. The Sappers are at the line. Leyline Seal from the Medivh. And it does get through. A Sapper gets through. Finishing off the core. GG Archon. Holy crap. Wow. Just wow. All right, I'm going to see if I can get a captain in a lobby. I would love to talk to one of them. Holy bananas. 100,000 damage from Medivh. $100,000 damage from the Medivh. Raynor keeping up though, 92,000. And then the following damage from Zarya and Malthael pretty much on par with each other. Just the damage from Archon used apparently a lot more effectively. Malfurion out healing the Ana by a lot. Let's take a look at the talents. That was a level 23 game, so all talents selected. We get Tormented Souls, Carrion Swarm, Nano Boost, Wailing Arrow, and Leyline Seal out of Washed Up, going into Expulsion Zone, Hyperion, Twilight Dream, Entomb, Warlord's Challenge. And then we get some interesting level 20s. We get No One Can Stop Death, letting Malthael come back alive. Seeker Swarm, improving the ultimate on Mal'Ganis, and forcing a sleep on anyone hit. On anyone hit by the expiration of Carrion Swarm. Nano Infusion for an improved Nano Boost. And also helping out healing. Bolt of the Storm on Sylvanas, a classic. A really good pick. Will of Forsaken and Bolt of the Storm are really big for staying alive. Medivh cheats, able to redirect the Leyline Seal to improve Washed Up. And the level 20s for Archon, Unyielding Defender to reset shields. Execute on Raynor for bonus damage on disables. Life Bloom, Buried Alive, probably the strongest level 20 in the game. And also Titanic Might on Garage to throw 2 heroes. I do have Little Bex in Discord. Little Bex, how are you?
Good. Feels good.
So I don't see a Little Bex on. Oh wait, I was looking at Archon's team list. You're the healer. Fantastic. Yeah. Holy crap! What a match. And 1-to-1 on Towers of Doom for game 3.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said 1-to-1 core health on Towers of Doom for game 3. Like, it
crazy.
doesn't get better than that. When you go back and watch this for team practice, you watch film after the big game. When you go back, you'll just hear me freaking out about this Towers of Doom game. Oh my goodness! So tell me about it.
So we have, the comp that we had is something that we've been practicing, so we were super stoked to pull it out. But yeah, no, the game was super close. It was really hard to push in with the Medivh and Sylvanas. So we'd get their towers, but then they could still tower dive us. And so 1-to-1 finishing off with the Gary throw was awesome. Felt good.
That, and I honestly, I didn't even see that sapper go in at the end. I saw everything else, and then everything stopped. I was like, was that just a lot of CC along with the ley line? Like, what just happened? And then it finished, and I was like, oh, because I really was dying to see that 5v5 over the altar. Because it was only one altar about to spawn as well. But that push, being able to defend those sappers to get them in is just as important and just as hard of a play. So Medivh was bullying the crap out of you guys. He got his stack so fast, and then he seemed very suppressive, and was really their main damage dealer. Were y'all expecting Medivh to be that much of a problem, or what was it like going into that game 3, and how did y'all make adjustments throughout it?
I definitely did think, like, as soon as they picked it, we thought it was going to be a big issue. Just because the whole point, like, with the comp that we were running, it was just like, we're going to run, we're going to throw somebody in, we're going to root them, and we're going to blow them up. But with Medivh, it was just constantly, like, saving people with the protects and the portals. So that was really tough when we had to, like, work around that. So it was a lot of, like, okay, Medivh's not here, we can go in.
Doing
or,
everything around Medivh.
yeah.
That's so that's a great thing about a Garish comp, which I tried in the first game and got a lot of picks on Ember as Malfurion. A whole lot of picks because Garrosh is really good at one, punishing someone for being out of position, but two, also forcing someone to be out of position. And y'all had the Artanis and the Garrosh getting those picks, which is kind of what Zammy and I were expecting to see. But those fights just didn't go your way, and it looked like y'all had to get picks in order to win the fights. Otherwise, they went to washed up, which is what happened. How did that whole game 1 feel on Dragon Shrine, getting Dragon taken against you 3 times in a row and just getting pushed in like that? What were y'all thinking, and what was your plan for coming back in game 2?
Game 1 felt super oppressive. After that game, we're all just kind of like, man, that's tough. This is really hard. It was really hard to go play into them, with rotating and everything. And we just honestly, we got so behind and we just couldn't catch back up after they had just gotten so many objectives.
What was the point in game 1? Sorry to interrupt you answering the
Yeah, no
question I
worries.
already asked you. But what was the point in game 1 that I would almost call the linchpin, the part where you no longer had the opportunity to come back?
I think it was once they. I'm trying to.
It's hard to remember 3 games back. I know.
Yeah.
I
know
will
they
say
got our keep, and that was pretty bad.
okay. There was a point where y'all took your own siege camp, and then y'all fought over it afterwards. And it looked like a really bad fight for Washed Up to take because if they made a mistake, y'all come back. But they ended up winning the fight. But it was a fight over what seemed like nothing, and that just kind of seemed to do it for me watching it. And so I'm interested about what that fight or why that fight happened.
Oh, so our Tannis player thought he had a really good combo to like get somebody out, and he went in, but then I think he ended up just getting rooted and blown up. And then at that point, we were already like, "Oh, we're in here with you," and then we were just like, "Oh, we can't leave," and then we all died.
Well,
So
that's unfortunate. But game 2 came back way better, and I can actually go ahead and update these stats. So y'all won Dragonshire, which y'all didn't pick the map.
yeah, we lost Dragonshire.
Or that's what I meant. Y'all lost Dragonshire, and then y'all chose first pick, going into Infernal Shrines, letting Washed Up pick the map again. And what I've been looking at, because this is my second week doing this, so what I've been learning so far is that if you're picking first pick, which seems to be the more popular decision, it's because you have one hero in mind in particular, either as a counter pick or a popular ban, or rather a popular, really contested hero, someone like a Joanna or a Sylvanas. And y'all did pick the Joanna, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Was Joanna the reason for the first pick decision?
Yeah, I think we picked first pick because we figured we'd just pick a really strong hero first, no matter what the map is. And then when they picked shrines, it was just like, okay, we want really good wave clear, really good control in the lanes to get really easy rotates. So then Joe was an easy first pick for us in that map.
Okay. And then y'all banned Zool a couple games, right?
Yes. And I think they banned it
Do you
once.
how do you feel about the nerfs on Zool today?
Honestly, I haven't seen it in a lot of games, so I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you too
Y'all-
much because I haven't played against them.
And that's fair. Even just reading them, I mean, they seem pretty substantial, but it's hard. You guys do have a disadvantage today having a match the same day as the patch notes. So y'all don't really get a feel for the heroes that were tweaked. We saw a little bit of Deckard come out. I think that was the only one. Oh, and Artanis, the Artanis play.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we played Artanis the one game, and then we were like, no, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. So y'all didn't really have time to get used to the changes, which if those are heroes that y'all like playing, that's a big disadvantage to you. But y'all managed to overcome. Y'all came back in game two. Game two, if I remember correctly, had a decent amount of back and forth, but ended up falling in your favor, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Was there a point in game two that y'all were worried?
I think not really worried. We were just more like if we lost a fighter, if we lost somebody, it was like, okay, that's fine. We just need to get it together. Just need to have cleaner fights and better synergy. But That's pretty much how we try and keep it most of the time. Just focus on what we can do, and try not to get super tilted. I guess.
What was that a danger tonight? Getting tilted?
I mean, I think it is like
Without
anytime.
necessarily calling anybody out, of course.
Yeah. Well, especially after game one, it was just like, oh goodness, like we just gotta get it together, forget about it, and keep going.
Especially when you get, I mean, frankly, kind of steamrolled in
Oh,
that first game.
absolutely.
It's hard to know that you're about to go play that same team again, and they're choosing where. And so,
Yeah.
but I think y'all handled game two really well. Lots of map pressure, lots of positioning, and we knew that y'all had game two. I mean, it was fairly somewhat obvious at that point, but we knew you had game two when y'all froze the shrine at 39 guardians down, went and pushed the top lane, went and got map presence on the rest of the lanes, and then went up to finish it. That was that's how we knew, because that was a confident play. Y'all were looking to get level 20s, get the advantage, and then march in at full strength. And I think y'all closed that out really well. Game 3, just absolutely phenomenal, bonkers, as I would say. And y'all were down a lot. Y'all were down, I think, 16 core points at one point, maybe just 12.
Yeah.
But tell me about that comeback. Tell me about comms and kind of the decision-making process throughout the game. You said y'all had a plan with your draft that Medivh kind of screwed up, and y'all had to play around it. Like, okay, is Medivh here? No, let's go. But Malthael able to rotate faster than Leoric. Leoric struggling to get to team fights a lot of times. So I really want to hear about the decision-making. Who's the shot caller?
JTR.
Excuse me, sorry.
He was...
Okay, so JTR is the shot caller. He is the Zarya.
Zarya,
So Leoric's Fatal is usually your offlaner. Zarya playing the support role. Is he usually your supplemental damage?
Yeah, he's always like secondary damage, or if we do double support, he's on that secondary support. He kind of flexes to a lot of
He's that
things.
flex role. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about the calls made, if you can. Even with him being the shot caller, obviously you were there for them. And kind of the decision-making process that got you through that third game, as close as it was, as far behind as y'all were, even getting, and before I stop talking, even getting that bottom fort, and then losing it again, and then losing your own. That was a huge swing.
It was tough, yeah. I think most of it, like most of the shot calling, was just like, if we can get a pick on somebody, we can really just push in with the comp that we had. So when we fell behind, it was like, hey, we just need to look for a pick, see if we can kill somebody really quickly. And I think what really helped in that last game was at one point when they had taken our tower back, Vert, who was our Garrosh that game, got like a really good throw taunt into like the death zone, and then our Zarya got a really good ult. And we ended up killing 2 of them, and that was like a really big turning point for us. And I think that was also like, it gave us a lot of sort of energy and hype to like finish out the game and like keep on going, because at one point we were kind of like deterred and getting sort of down, but after that fight it was just like, okay, we can do this as long as we get those picks, continue killing them, and just like run at the towers and cap them, then we're okay.
So that's down in the bot lane, talking about the tower exchange, right?
Yeah. That was when they had ours, so we were
Right.
fighting.
They were pushed in on you.
Yeah.
So that was when y'all had started coming back. Y'all never actually had the core advantage until it was 1-0. Y'all were behind the whole time. But when y'all started coming back, even before that, y'all got some altar caps. Y'all got 2 of the solo altars in a row. How did those plays go? How was it that you were able to kind of pick your way through to get to the point where you forced them off of those altars? I think there was one that they just gave because of talents or something, but other than that,
I think our comp had like a lot of good poke, with the Rainer ults and Zarya. I think it's her Q that constantly just like pokes them in, and then you go for speed shield on Zarya, and you put the speed shield on Garrosh, and then he's just super scary to play into.
yeah, I feel like the speed shield's almost kind of just almost meme like, you know?
Yeah, you just put it on him and he runs you down. It's great. But yeah, I mean, really, it's just like that's kind of also how we played with the Leo 2 rotating slower, is we just poke for a really, really long time until he could get there. So.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it worked,
and
kind of.
and they took boss on you, right?
Yes, they did, and they took boss, and that was what put us down to 1 point. But we really didn't have a choice other than to give, because they had actually gotten a pick on me. So it's just like, hey, we're gonna let them take it and defend everything with our lives.
And Leoric was sort of scouting it out, but ultimately, obviously, the decision, don't go in on that because you don't want to die there, and it's not going to finish the game. And y'all had to get both of the next altars anyway to even be in a position to close out, so it kind of makes sense to go ahead and get it, or go ahead and give it. And then going into those last 2 altars that were up, just because it's relevant for me as a point of perspective, I was in a very similar situation earlier today where we needed one cap to win, and it was those 2 top altars. And so expecting, and I just want to see, because I play in a mid gold area, I want to see how this translates to this level of play, if that's fair. Is the play for the team that is in danger of losing to 1 altar is, when it's split like that, is to go and get the enemy's altar, because naturally they're going to get the easy altar, right?
Yes.
So what I did is, expecting that, waited for them to show over there and went around to go cap theirs. Now there was a little skirmish over it, but overall it worked out. And so I was looking to see if y'all sent someone, Leo, to cap that altar to prevent a sneaky back door instead of putting a full 5-man to disrupt their altar and take it. What was that discussion with that fight like? Because those 2 altars were effectively what solidified the game, even though getting that sapper in stopped it, so y'all didn't have to fight over the last altar, making those 2 altars the last big fight.
Yeah, so we were defending bottom, and we were just like, okay, we have no choice to defend, so we went to defend, and we have a lot of poke with the Rainer Zarya. So basically it was like, okay, we're just going to poke this out really quickly, Leo's going to cap ours so we don't have to worry about it, and then we're just going to go all in on this lost altar, because that's really the only choice that we had to stay in the game.
How did you make sure you didn't get not you specifically, Malfurion, but how did you make sure that none of y'all got picked while y'all were in a 4v5 delay stall tactic?
We tried to stay at like a very safe distance, and honestly they were funneling through that area, which is really hard to play into, like not only for them but for us too.
A Zarya ult can really jack that up, and I'm sure her grenades helped with the delay. So yeah, it's really hard to play into. Keep going.
Yeah, and then Medivh only got his ley line on Garrosh, which was actually really good for us, because then we didn't have to worry. I think that was like the really big engage. Get the ley line, the nano, the Mathel, and then we just kind of blew up. But since he only got it on Gary, we had like a really good, we had a lot of time to set up and just fight and initiate. And by that time, Leo had already finished the altar, and so he was back. So it worked out.
Leoric did take, I really like this set of talents. A lot of people don't. He took Ominous Wraith and then Royal Focus, which turns a 5v5 into a 4v2.5, as I like to call it. And so, but it looked like a lot of those times, those Wraith walks weren't able to be utilized. He got out there, he got his debuff on and then had to back out and there wasn't any follow-up. And then obviously when he gets over to that 5v5 for that last altar, I mean, I wasn't able to see it at that point because there's so many abilities going off. But do you think those two talents are what turned that fight for you once he showed up, or or was it getting the ultimates out of Washed Up before Leoric showed up? What do you think really like fixed that fight for you?
I'm sure it was a combination of all those things. I couldn't really tell you much about the Leo.
That's fair.
I
play a healer.
Yeah, I'm like, I actually don't know a
That's
lot
okay.
about Leo and his talents, but I'm sure they were great. That's a fatal question. He got a really good entomb.
Yeah, really good in tombs. A few not so good in tombs, but some really good in tombs. What is it? 60% of the time it works every time, right?
Yeah.
So okay, and so yeah. So what else? What else do you feel like this is kind of a bad question, but what else do you feel like you should share about the match in general, or any of the games in particular, that you feel is noteworthy to talk about?
I think we talked about everything that was noteworthy. I mean, the best game that I thought was Game 3 in the last.
Oh, absolutely! Love to see Towers of Doom Game 3, especially when you get 79 core points of damage throughout the game. Okay, so where I want to go before we get to your shoutouts is I lost my page. So you're in Heroic Division, and which is the highest skill level in NGS. And so I'm interested, and I really love watching these matches because of the skill level, and I get to pick your brain about these types of things and improve my own play. And the fights are phenomenal. But so where do you feel like you fit in with the Heroic Division as a team?
The last season we were right in the middle, so hoping to be a little bit better this season, but I'd say that we're probably, right in the middle again. Judging by how we've been doing, I guess.
You are coming off of a pretty rough loss as well, to Press Forward last week. And so how did that energy translate to this week's match?
You know what? It was probably a really bad loss, but we kind of
It's last week, you don't care?
Yeah.
Coming in, it's a new game. And that's good. That's a perfectly valid strategy, answer, etc. So is there feeling about in the middle of the road in the Heroic Division? Is there a team in particular that you're concerned with, looking out for, trying to scout? Like, how do you feel about the rest of the field?
We haven't looked at the rest of the field too much. Right now we've really just kind of trying to get everything together and set up scrims, but if it's anything like last season's and the top teams, really just trying to get their synergy down and rotate as fast and as quickly as they do. So, hoping for the best, I guess.
Okay. And last question, I promise it's a two-parter though. Coming back to the match tonight, what is it looking at tonight's match that you feel like your team did the best, executed well, and what is it that you feel like y'all need to improve the most on?
I think the thing that we did best was just like rotating really well and getting our combos, set up together. We had a lot of good synergy tonight, which I thought was awesome. Probably the thing that we need to work on is playing against displacement. I thought Junkrat was super strong for them in game 1.
Very disruptive.
Yeah, super disruptive. It was really hard for us to play into that. So that's something that we definitely got to work
on. Okay, I lied. There's one more question because it came from chat.
Okay.
Twitch chat wants to know, JTR Hots, having trouble reading that, is asking, who is your favorite teammate and why is it JTR?
Oh my god, JTR. Oh god. He's probably my least favorite teammment.
Oh wow. Well, good thing there's only 4 other teammates.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Including him, so.
Yeah. He's rank 4. Just kidding.
Okay.
I've been playing with JTR for like what 2-3 years now, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. But
Alright.
why is it JTR's our captain, shot caller, flex player, least
All right.
favorite player?
Really, really helpful coming into or having a flex like that, and also a shot caller that knows what they're doing. That's very good to have. All right, so let's get to your shout outs.
Yeah, so shout out to my team, played super awesome today. The other team also, they were really strong. It was super fun to play against them. Shout out to Bay State for watching our games every time, and then shout out to you for casting.
Oh, thank you. I love it. Like I said, I love watching these high level games, and just casting in general is fun. My throat is starting to tell me to slow down, but never stopping. So thank you so much. Really good to have you. Just to let you know, JTR Hots. Wow, and just like that, she's booted.
The joke is that I'm the captain, so I get to boot him before he boots me. So
Oh well, there you go. Make sure they're steel toe boots.
yes.
Well, thank you
Ooh,
so
I just got
much.
those in Animal Crossing. Perfect.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Little Bex. Congratulations on the match win. Go have a good time with your team.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too.
Twitch, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for watching this match. Fantastic match tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I have another heroic match. It's Anti-Clown Association versus Dread Pirates. It should be really good, fun time. And then I will be co-casting over on Weenus's stream at Moist Weenus. What a match though. Overall, just super fun. Really enjoyed it. A reverse sweep coming from Archon after a hard fought first game loss, and a game 3 that just goes down to the wire. Absolutely unbelievable. Overall, my mind is blown, and just a great match overall. And I'm gonna figure out who I'm gonna send y'all to, and I'm going to leave it there. Thank you again. Thank you so much for coming, and please fill out a caster review. It helps me improve the things that I'm doing well, or it helps me keep doing the things I'm doing well and improve on the things I'm not. Things that I need to words are hard. You know what I'm trying to say. Don't put this part on the caster review form. Thank you so much.